Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Our next team is Team Hope Care from AESE Business School of Portugal. They've actually came through to the final after doing the playoff round, so they've had more experience than than the other four finalists. So let me remind you, you have 30 minutes of the presentation, okay? And after 5 minutes, we'll be going interactive. So you'll have a time warning after 5 minutes from these pretty ladies out front here, and then 3 minutes and 1 minute before the end, they will also show you the time warning. Okay. So, Sim, you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Our judges are ready. So we start the time as soon as you're ready. Good luck.
Good morning. My name is Simão Calado. I have a hospitality background, and I'm a Hope Care board member. My colleague José Paulo has a 10-year telehealth experience, and is a board member and the CEO of Hope Care Company. And Pedro Ferreira, head sales of Volkswagen Bank, and a board member of Hope Care as well. So we are all from AESE Business School in Portugal, and we made our executive MBA together. In the venture capital discipline that we had, we needed to make a project, an academical project called, and our project was called Health Without Geographic Barriers. So after 2 years, the academic project became Hope Care, our company. And we are now going to give an example of what we are doing. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paulo. I got to present a product that we are introducing already in Europe. This is a cell phone, a regular cell phone, and this is special developed for elderly, and elderly with needs, especially in chronic disease. And for instance, what we go to show you, we can do a blood pressure online, and for instance, Pedro have a regular blood pressure with Bluetooth, and we can turn on the device and collect the device from there. So we started. And we go to see what happens. We give to family, and that's the news, we give to family a platform that online you can check all data. And for instance, if I have my father and my mother, I can control and see what's happening with them online. So we broke the barriers, the geographic barriers, because if they are in Lisbon, I can select, for instance, me. I get the same structure of the cell phone, and I can see his health. The doctors establish the normal parameters of blood pressure, for instance, and if something goes wrong, you get an alarm. And with this alarm, our call center, because we establish a doctor and nurse call center, we can watch that and we can make an intervention with doctors. And that's what's happened. And the doctor can see also what's happening with trends. For instance, with this guy, we advise him to go to doctor. So what happens now is the blood pressure, he took the blood pressure and you can see the real data. And it goes online because we have a data card inside. We can send all data to the platform. So if I go here now and see the alert or to the dashboard, I can check if really the same data that you have in your cell phone. Okay. So the concept is that we can give the way of the family or yourself, provide your self-care. But Hope Care wants to add more value. That's why we are a telehealth provider. And Simão will explain better.
So we just grabbed these peripheral instruments and we placed them among our customers so we can control and provide a biometrical remote analysis and services, ensuring control of that information, sending all the information via 3G and GSM to our data control system. our data control system is managed by and monitored by a medical team, and it's actually a need for a prevention in age population. And this is our market, so elderly people and chronic disease people. So I can give you an example of our business model. For instance, we have intermediate formal givers in our business chain, which is social institutions, hospital, insurance companies, and we can provide our system and telehealth system to them. So we sell our service to these intermediate institutions, and they sell their products to final customers. So it's a business to business to customer business model, and we control all of our value chain.
And we can also reminder that because it's a business to business, we control all value, but we store the data. That's the value that we have in our company, is to manage the capability to make data mining and the trends on that.
So maybe now we can go and discuss more. It's very interesting, and thank you for the demonstration too. One of the questions I have is that when for instance, I take my blood pressure and my heart rate every day, but I'm very diligent at doing it at the exact same time, and I have control over that process, and I am interested in doing that. But when you're talking about your mother or father, whatever, how could you make sure that they're doing their monitoring, and that they're doing it at the right time, and you just don't get a strange reading because they just ate or because they just slept or whatever that would be?
Yes, and this is interesting because we can put that in the, we can put that here in a reminder, and the reminder go to your cell phone. And the interesting is that when you put the reminder to remind, you need to do your blood pressure, so the old people get that message, automatically connects to the blood pressure. So the elderly only put the cuff of the blood pressure and press OK, I'm here, and suddenly he sends the blood pressure. But because we are in back office, we are seeing if he do that. If you don't do that, our call center have an alert saying, OK, you don't press the button, and you don't do that, so we call him. So we can call and make a teleconsultation. We call them to say, OK, are you OK? Are you at home to do this blood pressure or not? Because
okay, that's good. And can I just ask a quick follow-up, and that is, what are the different types of tests that can be done? I mean, what you're talking about is very simple tests, but what else could someone be doing at home?
Glucometer. Yep. We already integrated Johnson & Johnson glucometer. In Portugal, represents 60% of the market, but market of the glucometers is the lancets and the strips, okay, not the device. We have, for instance, other weight scales. We have already temperature monitoring, and this is the 4 values, because with that we can monitoring diabetes, obesity, high pressure, hypertension, and the chronic heart disease. So it's the biggest disease that we have in Europe.
Other question. You say it's a B2B2C, that kind of thing. In Thailand, many hospitals, they are very busy already. I mean, super busy already. So if this business will add on more work to them, even though, I mean, of course, they can make more money. The problem is that they might take care of their direct customer before taking care of this kind of new customers, and it will create unsatisfaction to your clients. So what will you do?
Well, we have the same problem. For instance, I could give an example with Portuguese Heart Institute. It's an hospital. We start working with them, and what they noticed is that the people must go to the hospital in several times. And with that, with this system, these times go to not to, for instance, in 3 months, but they can go 6 in 6 months, because the doctor can see online if you need to really go to the doctor. With that, he opens space in this agenda, so he can pick more people and consultation and get more money. This is the first concept. The second concept is that we have the call center with doctors and nurses, so the first screening of all data is with us. We work with that and make the right report to the doctor. And this leaves the work with us and not to the doctor. And this is very important because doctors don't want to have all info coming every time each minute. Because if you have 1,000 patients, suddenly if all them have blood pressure not very well done, okay, and you get an alarm, so you are receiving bad data, so it's a mess. So we do first screening, we call persons, we try to understand if this is real data, and then we make the report. And that's what we do in Hope Care in our call center, the first screening. It's very important that.
Risks. Telecom giants must be a real threat. Telefonica in Spain, as we are doing very much similar operations, linking with hospitals. How are you going to see off these competitors? And what have you done up to now?
Yeah. As Simão told, I have 10 years experience in telehealth. And mixed telecoms with health is a bad perception on market. So what happens is now telecoms are buying companies like ours. Telefonica buy a company in Brazil to start the e-health business. And the company in Brazil is a real health company. And Telefonica don't go to market and don't want to go to market with her brand. You go to market with the other brand. In Spain, it's interesting because we are dealing with Vodafone. We go to introduce this product with Vodafone. But it's not to sell as a cell phone himself, because it could be, but people want the service with cell phone, and this is very important. But what happens in Spain is that service go to be branded by Hope Care. It means that what they go to sell is Hope Care service, not Vodafone service. It's powered by Vodafone, okay, but not Vodafone service. And this is very important to the market. We think that the trend of the telcos, they are interested in data transfer because they see that the communication, voice communication is going down and the costs going up and the voice go to be non-profit. So data is where they see where to go to get profits. That's why they want the e-health projects.
Excuse me, your target is aging customers.
Yes.
So it means that they have to be strong enough to conduct all the tests themselves also, right? So they have to be equipped in the house. And I think a lot of aging people, they also have problem with using high technologies and sometimes they Alzheimer. So it's really the question that with the telecommunication in this way, how it can be effective. So the aging is for some certain age only.
Yes. Here I present only one product. We have others, okay? But the question is that when we are dealing with old people, we can tailor the service for them. And the best tailor is the institutions will work with us. That's why we sell our service to institutions, not the end customers. When I go to Portuguese Art Institute and I say I have this service, they go to tell me how I go to do it. And they say, okay, my customers need that. So if you want to work with me, you need to put the service like that. And so I tailor that. Because technology, the platform is ready, but we need to fit for each customer. But our customer, the real customer who buy the service, who pay us, are institutions, not the end customers. And this, when we put here, for instance, social institutions in Europe want SOS button, and you want GPS locations with geofence, that device have it. And that's what they target, so we tailor that. But when we go to hospital, if it's hypertension or diabetes and so on, I can put this device. But when, for instance, they want a ECG online or oximetry online, you have other device, but not the same price, of course, but you have other device, so we tailor it. That's what we do.
Just one information. So this equipment that you see there was designed for elder people, so it's simple to use with very few functions that can easily be used. That's one thing. For the Alzheimer patients, for example, we have a bracelet that they cannot take away that allows to be located, so they can get out of place. It's like Alzheimer, of course. They can get out, look in the family or the institution can see where they are under a certain area that they can be out.
Can I follow up? You mentioned about the doctors as an example, that
Yes.
they don't have to see the patient. But the fact, I'm not sure if I'm convinced by that argument. And the reason why is that, as we see, as Kun Kobkan has said about hospitals are busy, everybody's busy, and you've got a disconnect between great technology and fantastic things and people really adopting it. And in this case, you described about a doctor, but the fact is the doctor has so many slots in a day. Whether that person comes in and does their basic stuff and measurements, or another person comes in, they still make the same money. Maybe you could say it's less intensive, they get more intensity out of their service. But I'm not exactly sure that I'm convinced yet of who really wants this. I mean, in the mass market, who is demanding this? Who is the number one demander of this service, and how many people are there that are demanding it? I think it's cool and it's really interesting, but I need to know that.
The biggest demander now are insurance companies, truly, because we have a mixed system in Portugal, and the mixed system is private and public, and on the health system, is becoming a reality in all over Europe. Now, if you go to a public hospital, you must pay also. No, it's not so free. And for instance, if I go a doctor, or a GP doctor, I pay more than I have an insurance now for a private doctor. And that is the change now in Europe, because the state wants to reduce costs and so on. And the hospitals, what we are working in some projects like hypertension, they think that when you have people at home and not coming to the consultation, you don't spend money, because the hospital needs to pay the transportation, need to pay the stay sometimes, and need to pay the consultation in itself. And that is a lot of money. And if you put that in figures, it's more money than you give the system. That's the system that we work in hospitals. In private clinicians, it's different. For instance, in the hypertension consultation, the doctor wants to see, when they do the first consultation, the 3 months record. And what you do now, you make a mapper machine, okay? And 24 hours a machine with you, blooming, and so on. But you only have a record of 24 hours. And the doctor saw in this system that is reliable, because you do your life normally, and you pick your blood pressure in the morning and afternoon, and after you have a record of 3 months. So the hospital, what go to do is to give this equipment to the patient and say, you use it for 3 months and then give me back. If you want after that to use more, okay, pay me. But the hospital do that now.
Excuse me. Who will be what would like to know about the accountability in case of the wrong diagnosis, because from the fact that the symptoms can be caused by many reasons, and because of the full hand of the doctors, and it is possible even you meet the doctor in person. So in case of the wrong diagnosis, who will be accountability, because the investor want to know how risky.
Of course. This is a good issue. First of all, when the hospital clinicians provide a service, they have a civil responsibility. And the first are there. Our responsibility is technology. It means that we need that technology need to work and collect the right data. It's like that. If you're that producer of the blood pressure, you make the measurement, it's the right measurement or not. It's that producer problem. Ours is collecting data. So we must grant that the data is the right data from the device until our platform. And we need to certify that. Okay? And that is where we have our responsibility. This is first issue. Second is, if we go to the end user directly, if we go there, okay, we have the responsibility, full responsibility. But now we are not doing that, really.
We have a civil liability insurance, expensive one for to cover that, and we are paying it.
You say the insurance companies are the prime movers.
Yes.
Are you linked with any particular insurance company?
Yes. From 2 years, we start working with the AXA group. AXA is the biggest one insurance company in Europe. They are our client and provider. And this is interesting because when someone buys a TrueCare, truly he gets the AXA insurance there. It means that when you press your button, our data go to a call center, and our call center is inside AXA group now. And we have the doctors and all the network of the AXA in Europe working with us. That's why we are spreading to the Europe, because we set up in Portugal. We start the first trials last year. We closed that in September, and then we go to market. We have 1 year experience with the call center, with AXA call center, doing all this job, set up the call center, and now we are providing the service to Spain, Germany, and so on. That's why we can grow, and we grow in this partnership, strong one.
And additional information, we will see the business plan, and this business plan doesn't incorporate the deal that we are closing in Portugal, expressly because we don't know until it's signed that it's closed. But we are closing a deal with a big insurance company belonging to a national bank, and they have branches all along the country. And if we close the deal within the next week, let's say, which is what is supposed to happen, we are going to have 15,000 connections right now. So with our product being sold within a health insurance product of a big bank. Therefore, that customer, it's going to our biggest seller.
The concept there was interesting because what bank wants to do is to put on the branch the product. If you go to for instance, someone like me go to make my retirement plan, and the bank said to me, okay, put you 50,000 euros here to your retirement plan, and I give you this device to your father and your service.
My question is, so what are you going to do with our funds? I mean, where exactly are you going to use the fund? I can't see that clearly in your business plan. You're asking money from us. I mean, what's your plan and where are you going to invest the money when you get it, you know?
I'll try to explain that, answer your question, if you allow me. At the end of the presentation, I'll try to do it fast of the business plan. Just to give an idea of how it is, this is our business plan per unit. So what you can see here is how much we are going to charge per equipment per month, okay? So we expect to be selling...
Medium term.
2016, 9,000 units of our equipments with customers, with end customers, and that will generate $30 of revenue per month per equipment, which means that with the cost that we have, we will make $6 of profit on each equipment with end customer. Can we move on? Okay, our company has today that equity, so we have an equity of $1 million this year, which is fully funded by us and by the venture capital of our university, which is our shareholder and has appointed board members to control what we do with their money as well. And so, as you can see, we expect to be paying ourselves at the 4th, 5th year, and therefore that's our basic business plan, and the value of our company today is 1.4 million. What we want to do with the money, to answer properly to a question, is we want first to consolidate our business in Europe. For that, we are more or less funded today. We can scale it through the central that we have that can be applied all over Europe. The call center of AXA can operate in all countries of Europe, and we are looking for other opportunities to expand outside Europe, mainly in Asia. But that's where we are looking for the money. And
so can I just ask about that? Let's say that a competitor comes in and the first strategy they have is to cut the profit margin on the device to 0.
Yes.
And their objective is some other revenue model based upon selling of the data and all that. What risk are we subject to as we put our money in and the profit is based upon that and then it's gone?
It is an interesting question because with TrueCare we have done that. And I'm going to show you an example from Club Serenité. It's a French club for seniors, okay? And now it's online. with our product to old people. And they understand to give for €1 the equipment. So the business is really not equipments now, no more, okay? And what they have done is that you make a subscription for €1, you take the equipment, and then pay €29 a month for 24 months. This is the concept in this club. Why? Now the hardware go to disappear. We are talking, for instance, an iPhone. We are talking about Android. We are talking about other kinds of ways to collect data. And that's going to be the future. What we are dealing now is preparing to do that in the future, because we already have the Android application, already have iPhone application, and so on. But this kind of device is specially designed for one kind of persons, okay? And that's what we're introducing. Then we go step forward for other places. And that's what we are defending now with our other companies and competitors.
So the question I have next is there something unique about this device, or is your application able to be used on just an Android or an iPhone? And what's the risk that a competitor comes along and says, we're not even focused on this. What we're focused on is, nothing to do with this. It's all about the app on the iPhone or on the Android. And what threat is that?
I can show you one thing very interesting here. First of all, is this device for special design, and the hardware and firmware are patented through Care. Okay, it's by a company who developed this with us. Okay, because it's a different company but developed this. Secondly, to have a great price on that, we produce in China already. So when we go to industrialize the concept, we work with Chinese engineers, and now we have an excellent product. I will say in the same factor of the iPhone. So with that, we have a product,
the question
unique
is,
product.
what can be done with that device that couldn't be done with an iPhone with a very fantastic team of programmers?
The first thing, and you go to excuse me, it's like this. Okay, and still working, because what happens is that when you provide assistance, okay, you need always running service. This is IP66 certification, okay? Second, we developed this for the hearing certification when you have a hearing device. So you put it on this, and you don't get interference, so all people can use it, okay? This is why can use it. Secondly, we control remotely the data through the platform. We can add contacts online and so on. They come here, so the old people don't need really to know to handle that. We can handle everything online, and that is different. In Android, the challenge is that we go to the firmware certification, and that's the difficulty to implement, okay?
TrueCare is not your company.
No, it's a sister one.
Okay, but you're not linked with them financially?
No.
So they are free to trade wherever?
We represent them as distributors all over the world, because they developed the hardware and software, and we developed the service inside.
You've got exclusive rights?
Yes.
For what period?
2 years.
2 years. After that?
After that, we have another one who's coming.
Yeah, just one more question that I have in mind. If I'm an investor, the technology that you said very unique. I think that because the aging people, they are not always at home.
Yes.
They move around, and things can happen outside the home. So your service is already applicable if they at home. I think very soon, the GPS used to be very unique, and now it's in the phone.
Yes.
And maybe we can wait ourselves by the phone. So when you say that the technology is here now, I think it will be outdated very soon if the mobile phone, they come up with a similar service that they can do anywhere, not at home.
In Europe, we use a data SIM card, universal data SIM card. It means that a Portuguese guy who have this cell phone go to Spain, France, and other countries, and the cost is always the same, because data can work all over Europe with same price. And this is what we have developed also. And this is quite unique because this is dual SIM. Yourself put your SIM card for voice, but the data card is ours because in Europe we are a network virtual operator. It means that we are also a cell phone operator all over Europe. And this concept, I think that to Asia can work. It means that if you have a global operator in Asia, if you put the data card universal, everyone in Singapore or came to Bangkok, the service is running without costs. And that is the concept also, because we are talking, especially in Europe, of reducing costs. And with this, we can do that and control. That is very important.
Just one additional. We work with iPhone. We work with the representative of the, let's say, equipments to monitor with iPhone, and they have exclusive with us as well. But we chose to use this one on purpose because iPhone is the fanciest product, let's say, and this is one that we have designed ourselves with TrueCare. But we work with iPhone, we represent them, and we have.
Thank you. I'm afraid the time's up. Thank you very much, team.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll take another short break, and when we come back, it will be team.
เอาละค่ะคุณผู้ชมคะจบไปอีกหนึ่งทีมแล้วนะคะนี่เป็นทีมที่2ประจำวันนี้นะคะกับทีมที่ชื่อว่า Hope Care AESE จาก Business School ของประเทศโปรตุเกสนั่นเองนะคะต้องบอกว่าน่าสนใจมากๆแล้วก็สร้างความฮือฮาด้วยการโยนโทรศัพท์ด้วยนะคะต้องถามทางด้านคุณแพรเลยนะคะว่าภาพรวมของทีมนี้เนี่ยเป็นยังไงกันบ้างอันนี้จะเน้นเรื่องของการดูแลสุขภาพนะคะเป็นหลักเลย
ค่ะตอนที่แพรอ่านแผนธุรกิจตอนแรกนี้ไม่ค่อยเข้าใจเท่าไหร่ค่ะแล้วก็ดูไม่ค่อยน่าสนใจด้วยค่ะแต่พอมาดู presentation นี้แล้วน่าสนใจมากเลยค่ะเป็นการสนทนาที่น่าฟังน่าคิดมากเลยเพราะว่าเหมือนกับว่าเขาเสนอธุรกิจการบริการติดตามสถานะสุขภาพนะคะที่เขาเรียกว่า telehealth หรือว่าถ้าแปลตรงๆก็โทรสุขภาพคือสามารถจะติดตามสถานะสุขภาพอย่างเช่นของแพรเนี่ยสามารถที่จะติดตามคุณพ่อคุณแม่ได้ตลอดเวลาซึ่งอาจจะ2คนนี้อาจจะไม่ต้องการให้เรารู้
ใช่ใช่นะคะเราจะได้แบบว่าคืออยู่ไกลๆแต่ว่าเรารู้ว่าตอนนี้ท่านเป็นยังไงกันบ้างในแง่สุขภาพนะคะความดันโลหิตเป็นยังไงบ้าง
ค่ะซึ่งอันนี้แพรชอบในประเด็นนี้คือเขาแคร์พ่อแม่แล้วก็ผู้สูงอายุนะคะซึ่งเป็นประชากรในยุโรปที่มีเพิ่มขึ้นเรื่อยๆน่าเป็นห่วงนะคะซึ่งอันนี้ก็น่าสนใจแล้วตัวแพรเองเนี่ยก็อยากจะมีเซอร์วิสอย่างนี้เหมือนกันที่ใช้กับคุณพ่อคุณแม่แต่คุณพ่อคุณแม่คงจะไม่อยากมีเพราะไม่อยากโดนลูกจับได้ว่าน้ำตาลขึ้นหรือความดันขึ้นหรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะแต่ก็เป็นบริการที่ดีค่ะแต่ว่าเขาต้องซื้ออุปกรณ์ของทาง Hope Care นี้ซึ่งตะกี้เพิ่งเข้าใจจาก presentation นี้ค่ะคุณปริชาติ
ค่ะก็คือว่าเขาต้องไปซื้อคือในแง่ของผู้ป่วยต้องซื้ออุปกรณ์
ใช่ค่ะ
ซึ่งแล้วในแง่ของตัวบริษัทของเขาเองคือเขาไปโคกับทางด้าน Vodafone ด้วย
ใช่ค่ะ
คือราคานี่จริงๆแพงไหมคะถ้าเเกิดดูราคาที่เขา present ออกมาเนี่ย
ตะกี้แพรดูแค่ราคา service ซึ่ง service ก็ดูไม่แพงนะคะ
คือแค่ราคา service ไม่ใช่ค่าเครื่อง
ใช่ค่ะไม่ทราบค่าเครื่องแพงแค่ไหนแต่ไม่น่าจะแพงมากเพียงแต่ว่าตะกี้ทางกรรมการก็ถามว่าทำไมต้องซื้ออุปกรณ์ด้วยทำไมคุณไม่ให้คนใช้แอปบน iPhone หรือ Android น่าจะง่ายกว่าแล้วเขา
โยนโทรศัพท์ทันที
เคลื่อนให้ดูเลยค่ะว่ามันแข็งแรงมากค่ะแล้วก็ต้องใช้ได้กับผู้สูงอายุหรือว่าคนที่มีปัญหาทางด้านการฟังนะคะ
ค่ะแต่มีประเด็นหนึ่งท่านที่ทางด้านอาจารย์ท่านกรรมการท่านหนึ่งบอกว่าตอนนี้ด็อกเตอร์หรือว่าคุณหมอเนี่ยที่โรงพยาบาลจริงก็ยุ่งมากๆเลยจริงๆมันจะเวิร์กไหมคะสำหรับในเรื่องของระบบนี้ที่จะเอามาใช้กับผู้สูงอายุหรือว่าผู้ป่วยเนี่ยค่ะ
อันนี้ส่วนตัวแพรว่ามันก็ยังน่าจะเป็นประโยชน์อยู่นะคะเพียงแต่ว่าคำถามของคุณแอนดรูว์อีกทีหนึ่งแล้วเนี่ยดีมากเลยถามเรื่องเนี้ย iPhone กับ Android เนี่ยแล้วซึ่งแปลว่าโอเคก็เข้าใจว่าเขาออกแบบอุปกรณ์นี้มาให้ผู้สูงอายุหรือว่าคนที่ไม่สามารถที่จะได้ยินได้ดีอย่างนี้จริงๆแต่ว่าคนจะมีความพร้อมที่จะซื้ออุปกรณ์แล้วก็เรียนรู้การใช้มากแค่ไหนอันนี้สำคัญมากเลยใช่ไหมคะคือตลาดพร้อมไหม
เพราะว่าผู้สูงอายุก็ไม่อยากจะมานั่งเรียนรู้อะไรใหม่ๆ
ใช่ค่ะขนาดคุณพ่อคุณแม่นี่ยังนึกภาพไม่ออกเลยว่าจะยอมใช้กันหรือเปล่า
ใช่พอใช้แล้วก็เอาอย่างนี้ก็รู้สิว่าเราเป็นอะไรเราก็แอบไม่ได้สิ
ใช่แล้วมันเป็นลักษณะรูปแบบมือถือแบบเก่าแบบโนเกียแบบเก่าด้วยนะคะซึ่งอันนี้คือทุกคนก็เริ่มมาใช้สมาร์ทโฟนกันเยอะขึ้นแล้วเดี๋ยวนี้พอมีiPad หรือว่าแท็บเล็ตเนี่ยยิ่งง่ายเข้าไปใหญ่เลยแต่ว่านี่อันนี้เหมือนกับเป็นการบังคับให้ไปใช้มือถือแบบเก่าซึ่งอันนี้แพรก็ไม่แน่ใจเหมือนกันค่ะว่า
ใช้โทรศัพท์ได้ด้วยใช่ไหมคะ
ไม่น่าจะได้นะคะไม่น่าจะได้
อาจจะเป็นเครื่องเช็คเฉย
ๆใช่หรือถ้าจะได้ก็อาจจะมีคอนแทรคกับ Vodafone ซึ่งเป็นแค่ในยุโรปซึ่งอันนี้ถ้ามาเอเชียหรือว่าไปที่อื่นที่ไม่ใช่ยุโรปเนี่ยก็ แล้วแต่ตลาด
เพราะว่าเห็นเขาบอกว่านอกจากที่จะมาเจาะตลาดที่ยุโรปกันแล้วเนี่ยเขาอยากจะหาพาร์ทเนอร์ที่เอเชียด้วยใช่ไหมคะ
แล้วก็เรื่องสัญญานี้ก็เป็นอีกคำถามหนึ่งที่กรรมการมีว่าคุณมีสัญญา exclusive กับ True Care นี่แค่2 ปีเองแล้วเราจะทำยังไงนะคะอันนี้ก็น่าสนใจเหมือนกันก็สรุปแล้วส่วนตัวนี้แพรคิดว่าเป็นบริการที่ดีน่าสนใจน่าใช้นะคะสำหรับในฐานะที่ตัวเองเป็นลูก แต่ว่าในฐานะที่เป็นผู้สูงอายุเนี่ยไม่แน่ใจค่ะว่าจะยอมใช้หรือเปล่าค่ะ
ทีนี้ถ้าเกิดไม่ได้มองในแง่ของลูกค้าที่จะมาใช้บริการในส่วนของตัวที่จะเช็คสุขภาพตรงนี้เนี่ยนะคะถ้ามองในแง่ของที่เป็นผู้ที่จะมาลงทุนหรือ investor เนี่ยนะคะความน่าสนใจตรงนี้มีมากน้อยแค่ไหนอะคะ
คือทีมนี้มีคนน้อยมากที่สุดเลยนะคะเทียบกับอีก5ทีมมีแค่3ท่านเองซึ่งก็เป็นนักศึกษาที่เรียน Executive MBA มาด้วยกันนะคะมีประสบการณ์อย่างมากกันแต่ละคนนะคะซึ่งอันนี้ก็เป็นโปรไฟล์ที่ดีแต่ว่าถ้าเราเป็นนักลงทุนเนี่ยเราจะลงทุนกับ3คนนี้ไหมอันนี้ต้องดูหลายอย่างมากเลยค่ะ
เพราะจริงๆเหมือนกับว่าเขาทำจริงๆแล้วหรือเปล่าคะที่
เขาเริ่มทำแล้วตั้งแต่ปี 2012 ก็คือปีที่แล้วนะคะแล้วก็เขาก็ค่อยๆ build ทีมขึ้นมาค่ะแล้วก็เขาก็แพลนทางด้านการเงินไว้เรียบร้อยเหมือนกันแต่ว่าคำถามพวกนี้ก็น่าสนใจค่ะ
เดี๋ยวก็ต้องรอดูนะคะเพราะว่าถ้าเกิดจะมาบุกเจาะตลาดเอเชียจริงๆเนี่ยแล้วเมื่อกี้ฟังดูบอกว่ามีเป็นดิสติบิวเตอร์เพียงแค่2 ปีเท่านั้นเองตอนนี้เขาผ่านมากี่ปีเมื่อกี้เขาได้ระบุไหมคะ
ผ่านมาได้ปี2 ปีแล้วค่ะ
ต้องต่ออายุกันไปเรื่อยๆนะคะก็ไม่รู้ว่าในแง่ของผู้ลงทุนในเมืองไทยจะสนใจมากน้อยแค่ไหนเดี๋ยวต้องรอลุ้นกันต่อไปนะคะนี่เป็นในส่วนของทีมที่2นะคะต่อไปมาดูทีมที่3ค่ะที่ชื่อว่า Adamo National University จากทางด้านของ National University of Singapore นะคะจากประเทศสิงคโปร์นั่นเองค่ะ